For some, it's time for this.
And for others, it's time for this.
But for everyone, it's time for a new episode of Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time and happy Halloween. We hope that everybody has a great Halloween, and remember, be safe.
And you know, Halloween is just the beginning of all the holidays coming up. And later in the show, we'll be talking about Al's Garden & Home holiday open houses.
Also coming up on the show today, we'll show you how to take care of your houseplants.
But coming up first, how to prep your garden for winter.
Well, it's late October. I'm here with Justin. We're out at Blooming Junction in your garden. And it's, speaking of garden, it's transition time for our gardens. So, Justin, what do we need to be doing in our gardens this time of year?
That's right. Right now we're thinking about preparing for winter. And doing some of these steps right now, preparing for winter, can really make a big difference in the success that we'll have in the following year. And I sort of have 5 major things that I like to think about this time of year. First one, and I think is the most important, is making sure that we get rid of all of our old plant material and growth from this year. Because it can be a spot where a lot of diseases and pests can overwinter. Right. And so getting those out of the garden now is really going to help us for spring. And so a lot of those things, you know, healthy vegetables material can be composted. Okay. But if you have things that are really diseased, or if you have a lot of pest pressure, you're going to make sure that you either burn those if you can burn in your area, or dispose of them with your household waste.
Right, because we leave those in the garden, it's just going to spread that disease and pest onto the next crop.
Exactly, yeah, like powdery mildew, you know, if you have aphid problems, a lot of bugs will leave their eggs, you know, in that material, and so getting it out is going to help us quite a bit. Okay. Second thing we want to think about is weed and pest removal, you know. So I like to go through, remove all of perennial weeds. I like to pull them by hand. You can use a hoe, but the important thing to think about in the fall is if we're doing that, do it on a very sunny day. Right. You know, because otherwise a lot of those are just going to reroot and we're going to have the same problem.
Right, you just mix it back in the soil and it's just going to
all over again. All over again. And then I also, you know, as you're hoeing, I like to look for cutworms or slugs. And if you have raised beds, they like to hide out, you know, right along the edge there. But, you know, fall, usually October and November is sort of mating season for slugs. And so if we kind of get them under control now, they won't be as much of a problem in the spring.
So continue using that bait.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. We use Sluggo here, and it's extremely effective for us. So yeah, taking care of slugs. And then third, I like to say test and amend. You know, it's the only way we're going to know exactly what's going on in our soil is by getting a soil test done. And I think a lot of people think that it's really complicated or hard to do, but it's super easy. And if you pop into any garden center, you know, they can give you some instruction and help you figure that out. And then, you know, that'll tell us whether we need to add things like lime to help adjust our pH, which can take a long time to take effect. So it's nice to know what's going on in your soil, and you can add amendments in the fall. That way the winter rains will help them to penetrate into the soil, and you know, the soil microorganisms will start to break them down and make them more available for plants in the spring. So we got test and amend, and then I like to recommend for home gardeners that we always top dress with something after all that. You know, we've cleaned up, we got all the weeds out, we've amended, and then at the end we can top dress with something, and that's going to help to suppress weeds. And I'm a big fan of feeding the soil, not the plant. And so when we add compost or manure in the fall, you know, we're feeding our soil, and all the microorganisms and things will break that down and make it available to our plants in the spring. Also helps with water retention, you know, and things like that as well. And the last thing I recommend everybody do, and you know, we all say, oh, I'm going to remember what I did. You know, I'll totally remember in the spring, but we all forget, you know. So in the fall, when it's still somewhat fresh, you know, take notes of what worked for you, what didn't, what varieties worked. Did you harvest too much at this time, too little? You know, take great notes so that
what varieties worked and didn't work.
Exactly.
So, you know, and there's we get a lot of people that, you know, it's fall and people think of fall veggies and they try to go plant them now, but now they should have been planting them a while ago.
Correct.
But you guys have already planted a lot of that and have a lot in your farm store. So let's head over to the farm store and show us kind of the fall veggies that you guys have for sale now.
Let's take a look.
Okay. So even though, we have our gardens are all kind of ripped out, you guys, still have your farm stand, and there's still lots of great fall produce that you can purchase out here.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you can see the tons of winter squash
Right.
we have, all the great fall fruit, apples, pears, greens from our garden still, and we'll have all the traditional fixings for Thanksgiving too.
Which is great. So, you can come out to the nursery here, the farm stand is open. There's lots of fresh produce. You guys will be open through the end of the year, and even all the holiday items. So,
That's right.
So Justin, it's always a pleasure to be out here, for all the tips on what to do in our garden. And, so come on out to Blooming Junction, come out to the farm stand, and it's been a pleasure. We appreciate being out here.
Thanks so much.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Is your garden in need of refreshment? Hi, I'm Sarah, and there are plenty of things in bloom at Portland Nursery. Come check out our beautiful fall color to perk up your garden. At Portland Nursery, we consider fall the second season, and the gardening opportunities are endless. Establish next year's trees, replace lettuce and greens, or get a jump on onions and garlic. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people, on 50th and Stark and 90th and Division, or at portlandnursery.com.
Don't let the cold and wet get you this winter. Warm up to a season of heat with Grimm's Fuel. Grimm's has plenty of wood and heating oil ready to deliver to keep you warm all winter long. Stay warm and cozy with Grimm's Fuel.
Ryan, you need to brush up your look. Ryan, that is better.
It's always better when you show off your Garden Time pride.
Check out the Garden Time store on our webpage for a great selection of Garden Time gifts and apparel. Choose a hoodie, shirt, hat, bag, or mask for yourself, or as a gift for the Garden Time fan in your life. See the complete selection on the Garden Time website.
Pick up some Garden Time gear and show your Garden Time pride.
Find everything you need for this holiday season at Owl's.
Well, it's Halloween, but it's not too early to start thinking about Christmas. I'm with Dorothy. We're out here at Al Sherwood. And Dorothy, you guys have some great ways to porchscape your planters.
We do. We have all kinds of different ways to decorate your porch, and we like to do it with either live greens or with cut greens. We can do it with either.
Right, and the nice thing, you have this planter, done up with, a beautiful cypress and, some osmanthus and the heucheras. But there's ways you kind of change these up throughout the season. Like, you put in these little picks in here, which is kind of fun. So you can just kind of, tuck these in here, and you can change up the way your planter looks throughout the year.
We do. So as we're leaving Halloween and our pumpkins maybe look a little rough,
Right.
We suggest that you get rid of those, and then you're going to want to freshen up your look. So this planter can be plain, just like this, and it's more seasonal that way. And then if I want to floof it up for Christmas or for the holidays, I can stick
Just
some
stick these
picks
back
in
in.
there, and we can go back in there with that. This planter will also all of this will do really well in the cold, but in the spring, if we want to change it out, we can just pull the pansy out, and we could pull the cyclamen out, and then we can put spring annuals in there, and
Right.
so this actually can last year round.
Right, and so it makes it very versatile.
It does. We like to mix textures and different colors in there, and it helps with that.
And then you also have other thoughts on, you have another planter over there, but that one's not made with year-round plants, is it?
Correct. These are cut greens, and so we have made we call them always in bloom, so that we can drop them just right in your container.
Oh, very
They're
clever.
made out of cut greens, and then they can come pre-decorated, or you can come in and choose from our buffet of other different balls and different colors, and you can decorate your own, or you could have one of our custom decorators do it for you.
Oh, great. Yeah, so your customers can come in and pick out their own theme, because everybody's kind of got their own look of what they want to do. So
Right. Everybody has their own ideas and their own looks, and we have people that can help you decide, or you can just come and choose and pick your favorites and decorate your own.
Very nice. Now you guys have an event coming up. You know, it is the holiday time. And
We
you know,
do.
Usually you've had an evening of lights, but that's actually been extended this year.
It has, because we're trying to keep all of our shoppers safe and all of our employees safe, we've extended this to not just one evening of lights at every location, but we are going to have it be all week. So starting on the 4th, and it goes through the 10th, we will have a week of lights instead of just evening of lights.
Excellent. And you've extended your hours for that time also.
We have. All 4 locations will be open that week until 7 o'clock in the evening. So you can enjoy the night atmosphere, which is what a lot of people like to do.
Right, you have to actually have the evening of lights.
Right.
You know, so not only do you have your week of lights, but you also have some other special activities going on.
We do. So you have to check our website because each store has different activities each evening. So check our website for the different activities by store by evening.
So, you know, if you want great ideas for how to porchscape your patio for the holidays coming up, you know, for great plants and great decorating ideas, make sure you check Al's website or their social media feeds. And for more information on that, you can also go to gardentime.tv and we'll click you over.
Cover crop is really a plant that helps to nourish the soil and get it ready for next year. So you could put in Austrian peas, fava beans, even crimson clover, and it'll help put nitrogen and other nutrients back in the soil. And in the springtime, the cover crop has done its job, so you just turn it back into the soil, it'll decompose and add even more nutrients into your soil. So here at Portland Nursery on Stark Street, they actually have different kinds of seed that you can get, or else in many of our other independent garden centers, they have bags of a mix of cover crop. And they also have a great handout here, or you can go on the Portland Nursery website and they also have a digital version there. You know, it's a great idea to put on our vegetable gardens. It actually makes it look a little prettier during the fall and winter, and it helps keep the rain from pounding down on that nice fresh soil. So think about putting cover crop in your vegetable gardens this year for a great soil next year.
At Blooming Junction, fall isn't about winding down, it's about getting ready. In the garden, start the next season off right now. Fall plantings produce healthier, more robust, and drought-tolerant plants than those planted in spring or summer. In the kitchen, get ready for the holidays with fresh, organically grown produce from our fields. So, whether it's for the garden or for the kitchen this season, Blooming Junction is your place for quality, uncommon plants and produce for your home and garden.
Every year, trees fall or break, causing property damage, power outages, and injury.
Now is the time for Bartlett Tree Experts and Collier Arbor Care to get your trees ready for the extreme conditions ahead.
Our free consultation will help to spot the signs of potentially hazardous trees.
We can help address problems before they occur. Whether it's trees or shrubs, we can help you get a healthy and beautiful garden.
Collier Arbor Care and Bartlett Tree Experts, providing environmentally safe tree care since 1907.
Find everything you need for this holiday season at Al's.
Well, fall is in the air and we're starting to come just a little bit out of our garden back into our house. Well, I'm with Karlene from Tsugawa Nursery, and Karlene, you have some really beautiful houseplants to talk about today.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we do. I think we have some really unique varieties of houseplants in at the moment. And I just want to talk about these. They're all part of the Calathea family. There's several different varieties here, but I think the one that people will recognize the most is this, the prayer plant, the green maranta. So this is where everything else stems from. So it's a prayer plant, it's a plant people will recognize when they come into the store. But when you come into the store, ask, because all of these other varieties are in the same family. I'd like to talk about this one a little bit. It's a Macoyana, and it is a beautiful Calathea. It's going to want the same growing conditions as your prayer plant that you already know. So it's going to want low light. It's going to not want to dry out. So consistent watering with these plants is very important. If you don't have consistent watering, the leaves will curl and get brown, and it just will not perform well at all. So if you water this plant once every week, then water it once every week. This one is another favorite of mine. It's a Freddy Calathea, a rock star plant. It grows so easily. I have one on my kitchen table at home. It gets maybe a little bit of direct sunlight from an east-facing window for about 15 minutes, and that's all it wants. So if you want to start with a house plant that's easy care, that has interesting foliage, start here. This is a great place to start.
And you know, we're all so busy. We want one
Yes.
that we don't have to tend every day.
Yes.
So you really have a nice collection. And so tell us a couple more, because they're all so different.
Thank you. So this one is my favorite. It's a centanth. This one also has done so well in our store environment. And I feel like if it does well in the store, it's going to do well in your home. You know, and the other nice thing about buying plants from us, or even if you don't buy plants from us, if you have questions or concerns, give us a call. You know, send a picture. We can always assess over the phone, or maybe help you, you know, have a successful plant life at home.
You know, it's just like all your nursery plants. You guys have that same care, knowledge of the care, so
Yes.
you can help us be successful.
Yes, absolutely, and we enjoy doing that. I think it's been said that we're all introverted, but we'll come out to talk about plant material.
This one that's really contrasty, what one
This
is
one
that?
here, this is a Calathea vitata. We just got this in. It's a new variety at the store. We've never carried it before. I was able to get my hands on a few plants, so I brought these ones in. But yes, variegated foliage is in right now, especially with white. That's what people want. Yep.
Wonderful. And then the last one with that big leaf.
Yes, this one is an orbifolia. Beautiful plant. Again, haven't been able to get it into the store until just recently, so we have a whole tray of the orbifolia as well. And this one is a showstopper. That big, round, medallion-shaped leaf.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is just a small selection of what Tsugawa Nursery has in their houseplant collection. So you really need to come out here. Everyone needs a couple more houseplants, especially
Yes.
going into the fall and winter. Please go to gardentime.tv and click over to their website, find out the directions. It's not too far to come up here in Woodland, Washington. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Judy.
For our tip this week, we are doing a planting technique called mudding in. So I already dug this hole and I'm filling it up with water. And what this does is when I'm putting this new plant in, the root ball gets saturated with water and there's really limited, if any, transplant shock. We learned this from Jan McNeilin. She talks about it every year when she is planting in the spring. But you can also do it in the fall when you're doing your fall planting. So this is the time too that you make sure that the crown is not slipping below the level of the garden. And also you can add in amendments and add in compost if your soil is just a little bit too heavy clay. So mudding in, that's our tip of the week.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Great. And how much cargo room does it have?
Tons. Basically, all of that stuff will fit right here.
Even this guy?
Definitely.
I love it. What's next?
Well, financing can be done online, and if you're ready to test drive, we can bring it to you.
Wow. No wonder everyone told me to go to Capital Subaru. Thanks, Shelby. You ready to get back on the road again?
Definitely. 2020 isn't canceled. It just looks different. Shop online, by phone, or in person. Your way at Capital Subaru.
Judy, what are you doing?
You said to follow you.
Follow us on Facebook.
Oh, man. Well, we invite all of our viewers to follow the Garden Time page on Facebook.
And on our Facebook page, you'll find links to stories, you'll see upcoming events, and you also might even find a funny joke or two.
So don't forget, go to the gardentime.tv webpage and click the link for Facebook.
For 4 generations, Sealy Mint has grown and harvested the highest quality mint and mint oil. The commitment to quality is found in all of their signature handmade Sealy Mint products. Their mint patties, mint melts, and peppermint bark all use pure heirloom mint oils and not synthetic flavorings. Now for the holidays, you can also enjoy their handmade peppermint and spearmint candy canes and ribbon candy. You can find Sealy Mint products at your favorite market and selected gift stores, or you can order them online. Sealy Mint. Real farmers, real mint.
Don't let the cold and wet get you this winter. Warm up to a season of heat with Grimm's Fuel. Grimm's has plenty of wood and heating oil ready to deliver to keep you warm all winter long. Stay warm and cozy with Grimm's Fuel.
Well, now it's winter, and we have to look at our houseplants to make sure that they're happy and healthy indoors.
And so one thing we can do is when we're looking at our plants, we can do a little misting and clean the leaves and the foliage as we kind of examine them what to do. So this is a nice little sprayer just to add a little humidity back into the air, because our houses tend to be a little bit drier this time of year with the wood stoves and the heat running. And it also allows us to kind of wash and clean off some of the residues that might be on the foliage. There's another product we can use. This is called Leaf Shine, and what this will do is will help clean the foliage on there, give it that nice shiny glossy look, and it will also help seal in that moisture in the foliage.
And you know, it is a good time to kind of look at how you water your plants. It's a little bit drier, it's a little bit warmer in your house now, so you might have to adjust how often you water. Also, put your plants a little bit closer to the windows or the light source, because it's winter time, we don't get a lot of sunny days, and the light levels are a lot lower.
And so as we're inspecting them, we may be finding some pests and insects like aphids or mites or mealybugs, and there are some good products that you can use to do that. So this one is a granular. This is a systemic houseplant insect control, meaning that it will last over the course of about 2 months. So every time you water it, it continuously releases into the foliage and will kill some of those bugs and insects. This one will take care as a liquid product that you can spray on there. It takes care of a few additional bugs, some of the white flies and thrips, things like that, but it's also, you'll need to use it a little bit more often. It's not quite as systemic.
And we also have some natural and organic solutions. This one is called neem oil. So when you spray it on, the oil actually covers the insects and its eggs and kill them. And we also have this bonide product called insecticidal soap. And you'll notice this brown shoulder here means it's natural or organic. And what this does is actually washes the leaves, but it also covers the insects and its eggs and kills them.
So we hope these tips will help you be successful with your indoor gardening this winter.
Garden Time's Incredible Edibles.
Well, I'm out here at the kitchens of Esotico Pasta. We're out at Wooden Shoe Bulb, and I'm with Barry. And Barry, Esotico Pasta, tell me about it.
Well, our pasta, we basically describe it as artisan, handmade, gourmet pasta. And we have 15 different flavors, including lasagna. So we have 2 versions of lasagna. We have unflavored and garlic herb.
Because looking at your lineup here, you have some very unique and different flavors than what you're going to find anywhere else.
Yes, we do.
So what is your favorite flavor?
I'm glad you asked, and I get that question a lot. So I have 3 of them. My favorite is 3 pepper, smoked portobello, and I smoke the portobellos myself on my Traeger. So take a little pride in that.
Right.
And also I love the black bean chipotle.
Oh,
so
great.
you kind of see what my taste is.
Right,
Big, bold
very
flavors.
interesting
Yes.
flavor profiles. And you were saying too that you like to, you guys are sourcing all of these materials locally.
Yes.
And so are you going out to local farmers and bringing in these flavors?
Yeah, all of the above. So we source from local farms in the Willamette Valley. For instance, we get all of our flour from Bob's Red Mill in Clackamas. And they're probably my biggest vendor so far. So we really try to keep things local, and we pride ourselves on that. And also, it just adds kind of to the mystique of the brand.
Right, because being this small batch, this this hand done thing, it's very hands on, that you're doing, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and so if people are looking around, they like seeing all these new products, and they want to support the local. Whereabouts can they go to find your pastas?
That's a good question. Well, the first place I would start would be esoticopasta.com.
Okay.
Go to our website, and you'll see various locations that we're at. And one of the strategies that we try to use is go through a lot of the farm markets.
Okay.
Places like Aspen Walls in Salem, OZ Orchards in Salem. We also are at, let's see, Helvetia Market. It's in Hillsborough.
Okay.
Urban Farm Market in Hillsborough. Lee Farms. And so you can see kind of the direction that we really try to go is those places have a lot of fresh produce, a lot of unique sauces, a lot of unique local small companies pretty much support them and they support each other. And so we're kind of right in there. And so they can see that we're made here in Woodburn, and then they can see all the other local companies that we're associated with.
And you talked about how you source, these materials locally and, you bring them in, but you're actually producing it right here too.
That is correct. So, keep in mind that we are on a 1,500 acre farm. And so we have the ability and the capability to actually produce some of the raw materials right here.
Gotcha. And so, we've talked about some of these great varieties that you have, and you can also get them here out at Wooden Shoe. But you're in the works. You have some other products that we're talking about too.
Yeah. So we got a lot of big ideas, big plans, big goals, and so one of the directions we want to go because of my partnership here with the Wooden Shoe,
right? And the red hemp.
And red hemp. So we wanted to go that direction. We're going to, in the real near future, we're going to introduce hemp pasta.
Very cool.
Yeah. And so we've already made a couple batches of it. And it exceeded our expectation. And so we're going to push forward with that.
So in addition to the exciting hemp products that you have coming out, you also have kind of partnered up and have some other products that are coming up for the holidays too.
Absolutely. So we're going to partner with the Wooden Shoe. They're a winery. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put together gift boxes that will include pasta, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and wine.
Who's not going to like that?
Exactly.
Christmas present.
Exactly.
So for more information on the Esotico pastas or any of the other products that they have in the pipeline, make sure you go to gardentime.tv and we'll click you over to their website. And so Barry, it's been a pleasure to be out here and learn about your pasta making process and what you guys have on the horizon. It's very exciting.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching today and have a safe Halloween. We also want to thank Al's for letting us hang out, and don't forget about their Week of Lights.
And for more information on today's show or any of our other episodes, go to gardentime.tv. Judy and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on Garden Time.
Find everything you need for this holiday season at Al's.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.